Hello everyone, glad to have you back. It's been some time since I uploaded my last video, which you should really watch if you haven't already. You know, there's a very specific reason why I chose Cheap Legend as the first game to try and beat boostless. If you've played every F-Zero game and have some knowledge about them, you might already know why. But if you don't, then just take a few minutes and enjoy this video. I hope you understand my thought process behind it, and maybe you will understand the challenges that arise if you want to try and beat any of those games boostless for yourself. We will go through every game in chronological order, so just skip ahead using the timestamps if you want to know about any game in particular. So, still with us? Let's begin then. First game is the original F-Zero on the SNES. The original F-Zero works a little bit different than the ones after it. When it comes to boosting, you only get one after every lap you complete, with a maximum of 3. There are also not that many boost pads or jumps, so that is also a bit of a challenge. I'm sure I could do some of it boostless, but since this game only has the Grand Prix and nothing else, there really isn't that much content I could get out of it. It can be really difficult at times, especially on Deathwind and Firefield, but doable I think. If you're interested, I can try it, and if I'm somewhat successful, I could make a video out of it. Just let me know, alright? Moving on to F-Zero X on the N64, and oh boy does this one change a lot. First we get 26 new machines, a lot of new tracks, and finally the better boost system. But there is something else we also get. An insane difficulty. To this day, I think F-Zero X is the hardest F-Zero game. I've actually tried and attempted to beat F-Zero X boostless in the past, and I really didn't get that far. But back then, I wasn't that good at X, so maybe it will go better now. The main problem with X is just that it's very, very difficult. Also, X still doesn't offer much besides the Grand Prix and, well, Death Race. I'm pretty sure Death Race is possible, but Grand Prix is gonna get difficult. Especially on Master difficulty. But, as I said before, if you're interested, I can try my best. Back to 2D games with F-Zero maximum velocity. This one goes back to the SNES gameplay. It feels pretty similar, just with better tracks and better machines. To be honest, this one has potential. Still not a lot of content, once again we don't have much, Grand Prix and the Championship course, but I'm open to commit to this challenge. But I kinda have to consider how I'm going into it. Obviously, I would love to use the Chat Vermilion, but that one requires a cheat code to unlock, or insane grinding. I'm sure I could do it with other machines, but honestly the 4 starting ones just suck, and I would prefer to have access to different ones, like the Silver Thunder for example. Like I said before, if you are interested and you want to see it beat, then I can try my best. I'm sure this one is possible. I've had some test attempts with the Chat Vermilion and it was possible, at least some of it, but I really haven't tried much. I'm not a big fan of maximum velocity in the first place, so that's something that I have to consider. But still, if you're interested, be sure to let me know. Well then, it's time for the big one, F-Zero GX. First of all, I love GX. Okay, who doesn't? It's the best game in the franchise by a long shot. It also offers a bit more. The Grand Prix, story mode, and technically also the staff course on every track, so there would be a lot to do, if it wasn't for one little thing. Without even testing, I can assure you that F-Zero GX is 100% beatable without using a single boost. How could I be so sure? Well, if you didn't know already, F-Zero GX is broken. Like, really, really broken. Snaking, MTSing, space flying, shift boosting, and so much more. There are so many things in this game that get you faster than boosting could ever do. Sadly, I'm only able to snaking really consistently, so I'd have to use that only, and even that could take forever. I can only do it for so long until my hands start to hurt like crazy and I need to take a break, but enough about that. Because those threats exist, I'm 100% sure that it's beatable without boosting. If you want to beat it without those threats, then it's gonna be a no. Even if you are an absolute legend and were able to beat everything else, Chapter 5 is gonna be the end of it. You just can't beat it without boosting or any speedrun tricks. I'm sure earlier missions are also impossible without boosting, but 5 is really the one I'm 100% sure it's impossible. The time you've been given is just not enough. GX is gonna be a pass for now. I have ideas for videos about GX, but nothing boostless or stuff like that. As I said at the beginning, there is a very good reason why I've chosen Cheap Legend first. Well, two actually. First is simple convenience. Currently, GP Legend and the original F-Zero are the easiest games for me to record. I simply do not have the tools to record my N64 GameCube at the moment, but that will change sometime soon. The second and more important reason is potential. I'm no expert, but I have some experience in every F-Zero game, and just thinking about the challenge itself pretty much leaves us with two potential candidates, GP Legend and Climax. I do not own Climax at the moment, and it's also a lot harder, so that leaves me with GP Legend. Sure, I could do everything with an emulator, like I record all the gameplay for this video, but I just like real hardware more. Also, I happened to just play GP Legend when this idea came into my head, so maybe that's that as well. I'm sure the other games have potential as well, but GP Legend is the one I've chosen, simply because it was convenient at the time, and I was playing it. And obviously, it was pretty much doable, with the exception of just a few races. And maybe there's more to those races. We will see in the future. So, it's time for the last game, F-Zero Climax. Like GP Legend, Climax has a lot of potential. They are very similar, yet so different, if that makes sense. It's obviously going to be harder, but still doable, I think. Grand Prix is possible, I already did that, and so did others, so that's nothing too special. With Zero Test, I am not so sure after the small problems we had in GP Legend, but I still think most of it will be possible. Instead of Story Mode, we have Survival, which is similar to Story Mode, but we have 4 difficulties and we can do it with every single machine. Even though most of the missions are the same, but still, if we really want to complete Climax 100%, we kinda have to do it with every machine. And if I did that, it would take me months, and that's just something I don't think I will do anytime soon. But this is the one game where I want to see if it's possible. Probably even more than GP Legend. It could be very interesting, and maybe there would be some interesting tricks. I personally think I'm better in Climax than I'm in GP Legend, probably because I've spent more time in Climax than GP Legend. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I went through every F-Zero game, with the exception of some special games that don't really count in my opinion, but there's time to talk about those games another time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to come back sometime. Next upload is gonna be here soon enough. Have a good one.